What's good, YouTube? It's your boy P Money. So Blazers finally get a home win tonight, 124-113 over the Atlanta Hawks. And Trey Young and Jabari Parker tried to get this game, and had some contributions from Kevin Porter, to tie the game with 0.7 seconds left on a layup to tie the game in the fourth quarter. But Simons gets a real good look with 0.7 of a second left, but he can't hit the three. So the Blazers end up going into overtime, where CJ McCollum shows up and shows out and helps the Blazers go ahead and finish out this game and show the difference in experience that the Blazers have compared to the Hawks right now. This is definitely one of those hard-fought games that Blazers, they were looking bad at times. The Hawks were looking bad at times. So this is just the type of win that we need to get off to a good rhythm. In the first quarter, both Young and Jabari Parker, they both end up with 6 points. For the Blazers, Dame and CJ, they led the way. Dame had 5 points and CJ had 6. In the quarter, they ended up, it was a really low scoring quarter. Blazers were down 21-20 after that first quarter. In the second quarter, it kind of picked up. Young, he wasn't really hitting still, but he ended up with 15 points. On 4 of 5 shooting, he goes 1 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, and a steal. And then Jabari Parker, he had 8 points on 4 of 9 shooting, went 0 of 2 from 3, had 7 rebounds and assists, a turnover, and 4 blocks. So he was killing on the defensive end. For the Blazers, Dame Lillard, being steady, he finished up the half with 13 points on 3 of 6 from the field, went 1 of 3 from 3, had a rebound, assist, 2 turnovers, and a steal. And then Hassan Whiteside started showing up, and he had 7 points on 2 of 5 shooting, had 4 rebounds and a block at the time. And then Kent Bazemore hit some big baskets, and he ended up finishing up the quarter with 7 points on 3 of 7 from the field, went 1 of 2 from 3, had 5 rebounds, a turnover, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And then at the time, McCollum only had those 6 points on 3 of 8 from the field, goes 0 of 2 from 3, had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 turnovers. In that first half, Blazers make only 5 3-pointers, but the Hawks don't shoot it any better, and they make only 3. Neither team shot well in the first half. For the Hawks, they shot 34%, and the Blazers shot 33. So it was just really ugly looking in that first half. Dame gets some late free throws to put the Blazers up 2, and the halftime score was 46-44. So you're looking at this and ended up looking at the ending score, and you're like, I don't know how that happened. But it basically was pretty much the second half for both teams. Shots were actually starting to fall. For the third quarter, Trey Young starts going off. He had 15 in that quarter, most of them from the line though, where he ended up having 17 attempts, and basically most of those were in that third quarter. He finished up the quarter with 30 points on 7 of 21 from the field, goes 2 of 9 from 3, had 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 turnovers, and 3 steals. And then Jabari Parker was helping him out with, he scored 11 in the quarter, and he had 19 on 9 of 15 from the field, went 1 of 3 from 3, had 9 rebounds, an assist, a turnover, and 4 blocks. So he was balling, and it was pretty much the Young and Parker show. Dame Lillard, he only made 1 basket in the third quarter to finish up with 16 on 4 of 12 from the field. He went 2 of 7 from 3, had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal. But Anthony Simons in that quarter went absolutely en fuego. And he ended up scoring 12 in the quarter to finish up with 17, 7 of 10 from the field, went 3 of 4 from 3, had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. And the score going into the fourth quarter was tied up at 75 apiece. So offensive definitely, you saw some offense for sure in that third quarter from both teams. In the fourth quarter, a lot more of the same. Young ended up finishing that quarter with 35 points on 9 of 27 from the field. He goes 3 of 11 from 3, had 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 turnovers, and 3 steals. And at the time, Jabari Parker had 25 points on 12 of 22 from the field, goes 1 of 6 from 3, had 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a turnover, a steal, and 4 blocks. So both those guys have built a great rapport already in the few games that they played together. And I believe Jabari Parker scored, if not 20 points, at least like 18 or so in the last like 4 games since John Collins went down with that PED suspension. But Blazers kept pace, of course, in that fourth quarter behind Dame Lillard. And he went for 30 points on 8 of 17 from the field. He goes 3 of 9 from 3, had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, and a block. And then Anthony Simons, he was the second leading scorer to end the fourth quarter. He had 20 points on 8 of 12 from the field, goes 3 of 5 from 3, had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. Dame Lillard hits a huge layup with 7.6 seconds left to put the Blazers up 2. But Kevin Huerter, like I was saying, he hits a big layup to tie the game at 107 apiece. And then Simons goes and gets a nice clean look at a 3 with 0.7 of a second left, but he just missed it. It was a little bit too far to the right for him, so we ended up going into overtime, and that's where CJ begins to shine. He ended up with 23 points total on 11 of 23 from the field. He goes 1 of 6 from 3, none bigger than the 3 that he hit in that overtime period to pretty much seal the game for the Blazers. He also pulled down 8 rebounds, had 4 assists, had 3 turnovers, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And Blazers ended up using a 17-6 run in that overtime period to secure this victory. Hassan Whiteside was huge in this game. He ended up with another double-double. He finished up with 21 points on 7 of 13 from the field, 12 rebounds and assists, 2 turnovers, and 3 blocks. So he was huge in the fourth quarter, I want to say, and in the overtime, just fighting for rebounds, altering plays like that. Like, he didn't have as many rebounds as sometimes, like you got to secure. Like, I know you got to secure the rebound, but to me, he probably had like close to 20. But also, Bazemore hits huge threes in that overtime period. 2 back-to-back threes, assisted by Dame Lillard. He finished up with 13 points on 5 of 13 from the field. Goes 3 of 6 from 3. Had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 turnovers. So he was big time. And we needed all his points in this game. And that was against his former team as well. So I know this was a pretty special night for him. And he definitely proved that it was with his performance tonight on both ends of the court. Mario Hezonja, man. He's been in the starting lineup 2 games in a row, and neither game he really did anything offensively. I mean, he made some good plays defensively, but he ended up with 3 points on 1 of 5 from the field, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Anthony Tolliver in a reserve role off the bench put up better numbers, and I think he produced better too. He ended up with 6 points on 2 of 7 from the field, was 1 of 3 from 3, had 7 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and a steal. So that's our production from the guys that are running the four right now. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, and 3 steals. That's what our starting and reserve fours were contributed with in this game. What else? Oh, for the next game for the Blazers, they play Tuesday, and they'll be on a 1-game road trip, and that's going to be over in Sacramento, where the Kings will play host to the Blazers in a nice little matchup between Dame Lillard and De'Aaron Fox. And I know Marvin Bagley III isn't in the game because I think he fractured his thumb or wrist or one of those. So it's too bad that he's not in that matchup, since Dame and him had that little back and forth a little bit in the summer in the hip hop game, and Dame ate him alive. But he's not healthy enough to play, so it is what it is. But Blazers definitely got to get another win. And Blazers, although haven't won on the road recently, they've played well on the road. So I think this win is just going to be building of something for them. They get their confidence back. CJ especially, seeing the shots fall in the clutch. You know what I mean? That's all a shooter like him needs. Is just a game like this, like where he's still struggling, but you could just tell that he's working out of it. Like his shot mechanics looked a lot better tonight. I just liked where he was at, especially in that overtime period, hitting some big baskets, hit a big 3, hit a nice mid-range. I just like what I saw from CJ, even though he struggled field goal percentage-wise. I mean, he just made big baskets when they were needed the most, and that's what you need from your big guns. Like I said, I already talked about that. There was a stat that Dame passed Clyde the Glide Drexler in, but I didn't want to talk about it until the Blazers actually got a dub, and that is Dame surpassed Clyde the Glide in most 30-point games in franchise history. He currently sits at 133, and he actually passed him in the was it the Golden State game? I believe it was the Golden State game. If it wasn't the Golden State game, it was the game right before Golden State. And right now, he's sitting at 133 30-point games for the Blazers. Just in the league of his own right now, Dame is a very special player. And he just finally got some contributions from the big 3, showed up and showed out, and then Simon's off the bench. It was big time. And I just liked what I saw from everyone on the court tonight. They were fighting. We had 61 total rebounds tonight and 16 offensive, so they were fighting on the boards. We've been getting beat a lot. Even though the rebound statistics may not look like the Blazers were getting out rebounded, it just seemed like they were getting out hustled a lot on rebounds in a lot of these games that they were losing. And I just like the way that they hustled on both ends. For team stats, Blazers shot 45 of 104 for 43% from the field. They go 12 of 36 for 33% from three-point land. They can make 22 of 28 for 78% from the free throw line. Their 45 made baskets, get 19 assists. Like I said, they pulled down 61 rebounds, had 16 offensive, had 10 steals, 9 blocks, and 16 turnovers. For the Hawks, they shot 42 of 104 for 40% from the field. They go 11 of 41 for 27% from the three-point land. They go 18 of 25 for 72% from the free throw line. They do get 21 assists out of their 42 made baskets. They pull down 48 rebounds, 11 offensive, get 10 steals, have 8 blocks, and have 16 turnovers as well. So, like I said, very hard-fought game for the Blazers tonight. And I definitely look forward to seeing what type of game that it's gonna be against the Kings, because I know they've been playing well recently as well. Like the Blazers have been playing a lot better than they have, in my opinion, but they haven't just been translating to wins. But the Kings have won the last, I think, 2 games that they played, so they're on a nice little roll for themselves. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for both teams. I definitely look forward to that. I don't really have much else to say. Blazers finally got a dub, so I can stop tripping about the 4-game losing streak. You know what I'm saying? So we on to the Kings. But this is your boy P Money. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to all my supporters. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I am off this.